You did good, Strange. Just
Glavik got an A. He fucked up majorly at the start. So from where they started, in order to get to the to his first checkpoint, he would have had to go directly south. He went north. We were all looking at this going, how do you fuck that up so massively? Holy shit. It's like, that's like the completely opposite direction. And eventually, Dodo pokes me, he's like, hey, can you Zeus to him and just check, just point him in the right direction? Because this is otherwise going to take fucking hours. So I spoke over to him and I was like, hey, I'm the magic wizard man. I have come with tips from the gods. You're an idiot. Like, you're heading the wrong way. And it's like, shut up. No, you're fucking with me. It's like, no, dude, trust me. You are completely running the wrong direction. And it turns out that the entire time he's been reading the compass wrong. So he actually had the mark points and everything on the map. He had them all exactly where they were. The grid coordinates, he had them right. And he knew where he was. It's just that whenever you use that map tools thing, you have to point it at, from where you are to the waypoint, and then you get your bearing. He was reading that in reverse. So it was pointing him in the opposite direction.
Yeah, okay. I know what you mean, because he was reading 180, but he went 0.
Pretty much, yeah.
But he had to go 0. But
because the arrow goes both ways, basically. So he got that mixed up. And once he figured it out, you could tell that, okay, yeah, he was then, making it through the course on his A game. Like, he recovered from that, luckily. That is how he still got the A. Because those other guys, those poor guys.
I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah. He did do it quite well then. Like, if that is his only mistake, like, if it got pointed out to him, like, yeah, he deserves the A then. If he did the rest perfectly, then...
Yeah.
Like, that is just a quick explanation.
Honestly, like, I know how confusing nav can be, honestly. Like, we've all been there.
Oh, yeah, no, I found the edge of the map.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
But we also had Dex, Coyote, and Minato over there. And Dex and Coyote got a C, Minato got a D. He really fucked it up. Those guys were just running around like headless chickens. It was just hilarious to watch, honestly. Like, I was just in Zeus mode, talking to Discord with Slush and everyone else, looking at this. You could track them perfectly, and you just move your camera over to look at them, and you could tell they were all just completely clueless. And I was checkpoint 2, and about 2 hours after they started, I got Coyote and Minato over at checkpoint 2, and they both just decided to throw the towel. It's like, dude, we're gonna be here for hours. I'm just gonna vibe out here, and we're gonna move on to the next thing. And honestly, I couldn't blame them. I think Dex ended up still making it. He pushed through, but he was, he got lost so many times that he did still get a C rating. I wonder what the reason was for Coyote and Minato getting different ratings, despite they both kind of quit at the same time. I wasn't really actively looking at Minato, at Coyote, because Minato was just hilarious to watch. He got the D. He was the worst out the bunch. It was just an endless comedy watching him. But I guess that Coyote must have at least made it to checkpoint 1 fine and then lost his way to 2. And meanwhile, Minato was basically, and he saw the entire map, just not the checkpoint. It got to a point. Minato finally got to checkpoint 1, and I'm in the open field, by the way. I put a fucking tent together. I put boxes all around it. I have a car blasting music, and he just didn't notice me. He came out the tree line, and then he looked at the village I was right next to and just beelined it there. If he had looked slightly to his right, he would have seen it. And he kind of just kept running. And I grabbed my pistol and shot at him. Didn't notice. Yes. Eventually I Zeused over to him. It's like, hey, where are you going? It's like, I'm going to checkpoint 2. It's like, no, you're not. You just went past checkpoint 2. It's like, really? Are you fucking me? It's like, yeah, no, I'm right there. I'm in the open field, for fuck's sake. Like, I even shot at you, and he's like, dude, honestly, I've been doing so much fucking running. I've just turned my sound down. I've been listening to music as I go, because holy fuck. And honestly, I can't blame him.
Yeah, fair.
This was running simulator for like 2 hours.
After all the mistakes they've made, but
And it got to the point, I mean, I had to drop out because, you know, it did take too long. And then I ended up talking to Dylan, saying, hey, if you're going to do this next time, we need to put together a shorter course because holy fuck, this took way too long. And yeah, he's like, yeah, that's fair. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be so shit at this. Now, the fire drills, which I wasn't there for, I got their ratings as well. I got them some time ago.
Delicate intricacies of my master.
I need to find them in the fucking right channel. They're in the HQ channel, but you know, a lot of conversation happens there, so they've been moved up a bit.
Cosmo fired the EMP?
Let's see. Yeah, I've got the average grades here. So this is with everything combined. So Lugo and Stocky, they both got an A on everything, basically. I mean, Lugo got an A on every single thing. So he had an A on navigation, A on leadership, and an A as assistant. Because they do 2 runs, one as a squad leader and one as a squad assistant, and he aced all 3 of them.
Nice.
Stocky aced the first 2, and then B on assistant. I think because that's just his inner soldier. He wants to take charge, and as an assistant, you know, you're not really taking charge. Minato got a D, obviously, a B on leader and an A on assistant, so at least, you know, he's leadership material. Well, he needs, but he's more in his element, not in complete control yet. But this is good because now he did roll in as an assistant right now, and he's doing pretty good there. Dex got a C at nav, a B at leader, and a B at assistant, and Coyote got the same. Glavik got a A on nav, a nothing on leader, and a D as assistant. He really fucked it.
Yikes.
We'll see how
now the problem that I talked to Glavik about this because obviously I wasn't there to actually see this happen. He didn't even get an average grade because he was ungradable because he didn't do the leadership part. Now I understood later from Glavik that he actually rage quit out of the entire course.
Not exactly my specialty.
It's like, huh. So I was like trying to figure out what happened there, so you know, because he was pretty eager to, you know, to do this. Turned out that he was doing the he was first rolled in doing the assistant role, and Stocky was his officer basically, you know, the actual squad leader. And he was Glavik was, you know, doing the fire support thing. But Stocky put him in a really shit position where, you know, Glavik really couldn't do much. The problem here is that Glavik, you know, really did as he was told and did not move from the position, according to Dolan. And, you know, a good squad assistant still has some degree of freedom and should have probably moved his position slightly to get a better firing angle. So you can actually start doing that. You are allowed to take a little bit of initiative, which Glavik didn't do. Now, what we suspect is obviously, you know, I don't want to say that, you know, Stocky put Glavik in a shit position on purpose, but it definitely, because, you know, he is really fucking good at this, and he kind of didn't do well as the assistant role himself. He wanted to kind of get the glory there. He wanted to, you know, take his team and ace the objective, and he kind of wanted to leave Glavik's team out of it. Which is kind of what happened, because the Slusher and Tiger then testified and said that that's kind of the impression that they got as well. So I mean, I've rage quit a few times out of things. I could kind of relate, and when I heard this, I was like, yeah, I mean, fair enough. I would understand that you feel a little bit, you know, screwed over by this.
Okay.
Because obviously he got a D rating. And then, you know, everyone else did really well, and eventually it took way too long, and, you know, he's just sick and tired, it just left. He'll likely try to redo the course, but yeah, it's...
Yeah, what the guy did, to take all the glory, that is just unacceptable.
Yeah.
If you're going to do...
I do feel bad for Glavik. He did kind of get screwed over. I mean, I did agree with what Dolan mentioned, like, hey, he could have just moved, but... I mean, especially when you're dealing with someone that you know is like a real soldier, you're not really just gonna fuck off and do your own thing. And Glavik, obviously being you know, a young kid, basically still probably wasn't, you know, confident enough to take that, you know, initiative and do his own thing when paired up with someone like that. which I definitely relate to. Still should have done it, especially if you do want to be an NCO. That's what you should have done. And if you didn't do it, that means, I mean, it's harsh, but yeah, you know, it means you're just not ready yet. But I can relate that maybe, you know, if he had anyone else as the squad leader, Glavik would have probably come out with an A there, because I know that, you know, fire support was his thing. He was pretty good at that, oddly enough.
Yep.
But, you know, well. But yeah, that was kind of
But
a mess.
the guy putting him in a wrong position on purpose, yeah, no, that...
Oh no, that was definitely, I mean, no one, you know, he obviously, you know, Starkey didn't say that he did it this way, and you know, we're not gonna just accuse him of this, but we all just got this general vibe, because, yeah, maybe this is a bit, I mean, no, because the thing is, Starkey really knew what he was doing. That was obvious for everyone that was involved. And for him to put his fire support detachment in that awful position, he must have known that position was trash. He clearly must have fucking known. But, oh well. The one thing that we came out of that, you know, situation with is knowing that, you know, our leadership course does definitely need to be looked at a little bit more. So it left a lot of room for improvement there. Clearly.
Yep.
And obviously, we'll likely have Glavik throw in another shake of the stick. I think he told Dolan that he got disconnected. I don't think he told anyone else that he actually rage quit. I have not told anyone else either, to be very honest with you. Because I think because you know, Glavik is this guy that he has a lot going against him. Mostly, you know, of his own making, mind you. He was the biggest moron in the original run of the unit. Especially near the end, you know, when we started doing Cold War, you know, Glavik really just started getting fed up with things, and he really started to troll as if his life depended on it. And he made a lot of enemies doing that. And particularly, you know, one person that really doesn't like Glavik is Slusher. And we all know how influential Slusher is in the unit.
Yep.
And he really doesn't he barely even wants to give Glavik a chance. And, you know, this incident is not going to make that, you know, any easier on him. And now we've got Bowen, who's likely just straight up going to get a leadership position, just right out the gates. You know, I think the slots are slowly starting to fill up before Glavik is going to get a chance.
Which will be very sad, honestly.
Honestly, I mean, yeah.
Because he does deserve the actual chance.
He does deserve the chance. And the thing is, he has a lot of potential. Because the thing is that what you have to understand about this motherfucker is that he really wants this. And it's someone that really wants this, you know, they're dedicated, they're gonna try to improve. So this must have been like a real big blow to the face for him. And if all the slots are filled, it's gonna be even worse. Now, you know, second platoon is not open yet. Second squad in first platoon is starting to fill up, but we don't have a CO for yet. So we have a sergeant and a corporal rank for that. Let's see. But I suspect that, you know, either Bo will go there, because they were the combat engineers before. Maybe they'll go there instead and do their own thing again. But that'll depend on what Slusher and Dolan want to do, and I've not heard from that yet. If second platoon opens up, you know, we've got 3 squads that open up, plus, you know, platoon commanders, marksmen, radio operators, you know, more fun roles, more involved shit. And that'll likely suck away a lot of the more experienced guy from first platoon. I see Hooper becoming the platoon commander for the second platoon when they open up. Dex Baker will likely take over first squad then. So we'll have a shuffle then. So, you know, that's like the one big shuffle that we'll have. That if, you know, Glavik times it right, he might get a position then. But otherwise, you know, we've got more people, you know, showing an interest in becoming a CO, and on paper, all of those people look like they'd be a better fit. Obviously, if you compare him to people like Lugo and Starkey, obviously Glavik is never gonna win that contest. So he had honestly, in that group that, you know, he was with, it was going to be really rough for Glavik, honestly. Like, we had some stiff competition there. The one thing that really helped is that stiff competition really sucked at nav. Because even Dex, Coyote, and Minato, I mean, they're all NCOs now. And they're doing pretty goddamn good. It's just that they all really suck at nav. So, you know, let's not make them become any fucking scouts anytime soon. Holy shit. But yeah, I just really kind of hope that he'll be given his chance.
I hope so too, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, when you say that about Glavik, then you know.
Yeah, but like he's not the worst. It's just like the way this has gone. Yeah, this has been very bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been really fucking pissed, honestly. But I would have probably moved the position, so it wouldn't have affected me that much. But I would have, glanced at Starkey the rest of my career here, going, "Well, I'll remember this. Hunter will remember this."
Oh god.
Well, that was a lame move,
Yep.
and I honestly think that it was on purpose, mind you, because everyone noticed this, and no one really accused him of anything. But Starkey, despite his good score, is the only one that hasn't been given an NCO role yet. They've kept him as a private first class, so he got a promotion out of it, but no
And that's it.
responsibilities. Yeah, I mean Dex, he's corporal, squad leader for he's corporal first squad now. Minato's corporal in the third squad, the machine gunners, and they both did arguably worse than he did. So yeah, I think that Dolan's kind of want to make him feel it a little bit. I do probably see Starkey eventually going to second squad as a squad leader though. I think he is the obvious pick there, to be very honest with you.
Maybe we
But
can hack into Mr.
not yet.
Blue Guy's
You're gonna chew on your wounds a little bit. One thing I hope that they won't do is put Glavik in as the assistant for second squad if that happens. Holy shit.
Yeah, don't put him in the same group as.
And honestly, I see Slusher do that on purpose. I'm really going to have to play the influence game there to prevent that from happening. If in an ideal world, I'd see Glavik come in as the assistant squad lead in third squads for second, so the machine gunners, because he's more in his element there. And despite him knowing that he's probably good at fire support, I don't really see him as actual squad lead material. But as an assistant, at least, he's probably do fine there.
True.
So I mean, yeah, he'll find room to grow there, and then maybe become an actual squad lead if he has more experience. And I'm really glad that Dolan did actually give me that fucking marksman slot now, because that kind of means I'm fixed in place in first platoon without any real responsibilities, no big squad I need to look after, no real leadership and things I need to do. Because otherwise, if this shuffle were to have happened and the second platoon opens up, I would have been shuffled in as a squad leader or whatever somewhere, which I just really don't want to do anymore, honestly.
Yeah, fair.
It's because the thing is that Dolan and Slusher kind of got almost mad at me because of it. Because the thing is that apparently I'm pretty fucking good at it. It's just that I hate it. So they're really frustrated, going, "Oh fuck! Now we're going to need to replace your dumbass. Who the fuck are we gonna replace you with? Oh, for fuck's sake! God damn it, though." So that was kind of funny. And yeah, I might be good at it. The problem is that I think I'm only good at it because with every single thing I say, every action we do, I think about the consequences of 10 different fucking scenarios. I'm really just, my brain is working on overdrive when I'm on a squad lead duty, because I know if I fuck up, I've ruined the experience for anyone else. And the problem is that back then, the first time around, I had less issue with this because honestly I was just working at fucking Domino's back then. I didn't have a lot going on in life. But now I get home tired as fuck every day, especially on the Saturday. That's a difficult, rough day for my job, and then I have to basically sit at home for hours, and then by the time I kind of want to go to bed, that's when the op starts, and I'm expected to be on my A game and lead the guys. I don't think I'm not gonna be in the mood for that at that point. Honestly.
Yeah, fair.
And side effect, I think as a marksman and just moving between the squads, between the platoons, kind of fucking about, doing my own thing, will make for more interesting content to watch on stream on YouTube. Because I will be recording and streaming this, obviously.
Yeah, fair.
So you can kind of get a perspective of what the entire group is doing. as opposed to just what one squad is doing. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm happy as logistics. That is
Yeah.
genuinely
well,
my
yeah.
place.
We know. And it's
If
obviously,
anyone,
during
if they put anyone else in charge of logistics instead of me, I will absolutely not be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really gonna come down to the person. If it's just any random hillbilly that really just wants to do things their own way, then yeah, that's probably going to be problematic. But if it's someone that you've probably spent time with beforehand, like if for example like someone like Fody were to jump in and do that, I don't think that would have been too much of a problem. Someone that you can kind of get along with, and you're kind of on the same wavelength on what you want to do with logistics.
Yeah.
But honestly, what I see happening is I do think once logistics starts growing, we'll likely get a second person in, but that'll probably mean that you get moved up and they'll do what you want them to do as opposed to the other way around.
That better be what's going to happen, because if I've been the one building logistics up...
Yeah. I mean, that's very likely what's going to happen. I think the reason as to why you're not already, the supply sergeant and you're kind of just the assistant right now is mostly because, logistics isn't, being implemented that much yet. And you still need to kind of, when it does, start kicking off and logistics starts being used, you probably need a little bit of a warm-up period to really get, the greases oiled and get moving.
True.
Because obviously once it comes down to it, we'll need to figure out logistics protocols, chain of commands, how supplies are being called in, how they're retrieved, and all that kind of nonsense.
Please make sure that I will have no responsibility over whatever materials you're getting. If you order it wrong, your problem.
Well, I think obviously that is going to be a factor. It's like the squad leaders, they'll need to be trained in how to employ logistics too. It's not just going to be Riddle just needs to fucking magic his way and solve everything. You're gonna do what he wants you to do, and if they provide you wrong instructions, I mean that's their problem.
Yep.
Every NCO is probably going to need to, get in touch with logistics and figure out how you want them to do the things you want them to do, and obviously there'll probably going to be courses for it once logistics starts becoming more involved. Once it starts, it'll probably start in Market Garden because that's when you'll actually be there. It'll likely be in a very basic sense, but it'll likely start progressing. And everyone else will eventually, because it's not just going to be the squad leaders. I mean, every single fucking soldier is going to eventually need to deal with logistics because we'll have persistent inventories across the campaign. So if you spend all of your magazines in one mission, you're not going to have any for the next. And even like the basic riflemen, they need to kind of keep track of this and inform their squad leader, hey, look, I'm running low on this or that, and they need to write that down and get a list of what they need, and send that up the chain of command so that it ends up with you. You grab the stuff they need and send it out by any means that we have at the time.
Yep.
I do see. I think this is likely going to be, it's a very simplistic way now, but this is likely going to be the basis of how it's going to work on a rifleman all the way to logistics chain level. But it does happen that if like for example one guy has like a carbon and says, look, I'm running out of rounds, and another squad leader that's there writes that down but doesn't really know the guy and thinks it's M1 ammo and writes that down and sends that to you. I mean, you're not going to get in trouble for sending them M1 ammo. That if that one guy still doesn't have the right ammo, that's not your fault. No, if they wrote that down wrong.
Yep.
And honestly, I think your job there is relatively easy. They just give you a shopping list, and you write that down. It is probably going to be. It's probably going to be radioed in, likely. So you'll need to kind of, you need because it'll probably be radioed in by like well, sadly enough, probably by Urban. So good luck with that.
God.
Or by whoever becomes the second platoon radio operator. So when they say M1 ammo, you'll need to figure, you'll need to kind of know ahead of time what that is, so you can quickly add it to the list. I'd say just write it down first somewhere.
Yeah, no, I will be using my iPad during moments like that.
Yeah, just write it down, and then after the call is done, take your time to organize and set it up. And this is, where eventually, having an assistant will come in, someone else that can keep track of the inventory. So whenever if someone like, I need fucking tracer rounds for this or that weapon, if you don't know out of the top of your head what that is, the other guy could probably jump in and help you. The trick, obviously, here is just you'll likely just have an arsenal or something like that. Just pull out the weapon that they're talking about, because they'll likely mention the weapon, and if they don't, ask them what weapon is it. Pull out the weapon and just use the Ace Arsenal thing to figure out what ammo it has. Pop your uncle. Job done.
Yep.
Just pull it out that way. And then
This
obviously
game is
transportation is going to be another ball game, but yeah, that's going to be the fun stuff, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm going to be like, hey, I need someone to navigate me.
Yeah. I mean, logically, obviously the supply posts will be behind the CP, or sometimes even in the CP. So you'll either need a car or a runner or a crate or whatever. But especially during Market Garden, the supply posts will likely be, away from where the squads are, because then there, will be very spread out sometimes. So you will need a vehicle. It's going to be either a car or the Red Ball Express. Likely be the truck for most cases. And you might have an accompanying car with a gun, to protect you in case. I don't think they'll just send the truck out on its own unless it's absolutely necessary. And the good thing about, using a truck is that vehicles are kind of famous for driving on roads, and roads are kind of easy to navigate on.
If you do it right.
Yeah. I mean, if you take a wrong turn and end up in German territory, then yeah. But I'd say every single fucking time almost, unless, we've really fucked it up somehow and put the CP behind enemy lines on dumb shit. Most of the time, the area between you and the CP is going to be completely cleared. It would make absolutely no sense for Germans to be in that area. So you can kind of take your time, navigate slowly, move your way up to the CP, and from there, you'll likely get a guide, because from then on you'll need to find the squad, and that's a different ball game, because they're going to be over yonder somewhere. But I don't think that you're going to be expected to just drive the truck into a war zone by yourself. It does make sense that you get some sort of guide there to take you to the squad. And if that's not going to be, an official thing, we'll just tell Poland to make that an official thing.
He knows how shit I am at navigation.
In
general.
It also just makes sense. You're not going to send a supply truck undefended, unguided into a war zone. If you lose that truck, you are completely fucked. The squad that they're going to resupply is just doomed at that point. And this will likely also eventually play hand in hand with the medical, surgeon that we'll get, which is probably going to be Slusher because he really wants it. So eventually, once you get sufficiently big enough and the medics, become a more organized unit, basically. Slushy will just be a surgeon behind enemy lines, likely at the CP or at the supply post. And whenever someone is really, really fucked up, they just get put on a car and transported back to the CP to Slusher to fix them up. Which will likely play hand in hand with logistics. So obviously he's gonna run out of medical shit, come pick it up at your place. Sometimes logistics might even be needed, to help evacuate mass casualties. Because if an entire squad goes down, one car is not gonna cut it anymore.
Okay, I know Kang just crashed it, but if anyone asks, it was all us.
And obviously in between, me being basically behind the lines, you being behind the lines, Slusher fucking about there. I think that's going to leave a lot of room for just dumb shenanigans to happen. I think that'll be pretty fun, honestly.
Yeah, fair.
That's a good bunch of people to put together. Which is why I'm happy that Dolan decided, to give me Slush and Dex for tomorrow. That'd be great. Because if I had like fucking 2 tryhards with me, I don't think I would have had a great time.
No, that would have been bad.
Because Slusher tries hard, but not at the same time, which is great. And Dex is just a fucking clown, basically.
Yeah,
Just
fair.
a clown that's actually good at the game, so that helps. He's not like a clever kind of clown that's fucking about and actually pretty shit for the most part.
True.